1.
As the secretary to the board, I have the distinct privilege one time a year to call this meeting to order for the purposes of the reorganization of the board trustees and their leadership roles. At this time, I'd like to open up for elections, beginning with nominations.
No.
Yes, for president, excuse me.
I nominate Andy Schaefer to continue as president of the board.
I second that.
And all in favor, please vote.
Aye.
Is this a roll call vote, Ms. Jolene?
Do I have to vote for myself?
It's a general.
Very good. Well, thank you. Congratulations, President Andy. Would
Thank
you
you.
like to take over the meeting?
But I would
Thank you.
I would like to nominate Michelle Robertson as clerk.
I'll second.
And you just got all in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful. Congratulations. And
Yeah, that was. You wielded that gavel very well.
I wanted to make you all proud.
I'm going to start having to whack that thing a little harder next time. Okay. All righty. Move along to item 2, establish our regular meetings for 2016. And the motion is to establish regular monthly meetings of the Board of Education to be typically held at 5:30 p.m. on the second and fourth Tuesdays of each calendar month. Board meetings will be held in the Carpenter City Council Chamber, excuse me, 5775 Carpenter Avenue, Carpinteria, or at the District Administrative Office or a school site if needed. The location to be determined by the board. Board meetings in 2016 are scheduled for January 12th, January 26th, February 9th and 23rd, March 8th and 22nd, April 12th and 26th, May 10th and 24th, June 14th and 28th, July 12th, August 9th and 23rd, September 13th and 27th, October 11th and 25th, November 8th and 22nd, and December 13th as an organizational meeting.
I move that we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item 3 is appointment of board committees to board members to various committees. Currently, for the County Committee on School District Organization Election, we have Michelle and Jacqueline. If you guys are all right, we'll stay with that. Okay. And then for the 25th, for the City Council Board of Trustees Joint Committee, currently we have Michelle and myself. If Michelle would like to still do it, I'd like to see if Alicia would like to be on that committee.
Oh, sure.
Okay. And then for the 2016, or currently we have Michelle as our member of the California School Board Association Legislative Network. You want to still do that? Or anybody else want to do that one? You good?
Okay.
All right. Okay. So can I get a motion to approve those appointments?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All righty. Now we'll move on to our regular meeting. So could everyone please stand and join us for the flag salute? Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll report out on our closed session. Item A was conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision B of section 54956.9. Number of cases 1, information exchange, no action was taken. Item B was conference with labor negotiators, Government Code Section 54957.6. Agency designated representatives were Micheline Miglis, Lucinda Abbott, and Darlene Avalos. Information was exchanged. No action was taken. Item C was public employee discipline dismissal release, Government Code Section 54957. Information was exchanged. No action was taken. And item D, public employee performance evaluation, Government Code Section 54957, title superintendent. No action was taken. So, our organizational meeting report. I think we've just done that, so hopefully everyone has a good memory.
Have a recap.
Item 4 is the approval of the minutes of our last meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of November 24th, 2015.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 5 is the approval of the agenda and consent agenda. And I was going to amend something here. I was going to,
Public comment.
the public comment. I'm going to move the public comment up to just following F1. So it'll be right after the student rep report. No,
I move we approve the agenda and consent agenda as amended.
I'll second.
okay, roll call.
Alicia?
Aye.
Jacqueline?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
And I'm aye.
All right. Now we'll move on to item F, public interest reports presentations. And Anna here for our student representative report.
Yeah.
I got your name this time.
Yeah, you did get my name. Okay. All families from Carpinteria Children's Project, Early Childhood, and Family Resource Center classes are invited to join them to walk in the Carpinteria Holiday Parade on Saturday, December 12th. They will meet at 2:30 at parking lot number 1 at Yucca Lane and 9th Street. They will donate elf garb, and Santa will take family photos. CCP had a successful site visit from First Five. They were proud to show how their dollars are being spent to benefit carpenter families who have children aged 0 to 5. Congratulations to Christina Municic, first grade teacher at Canalino, for being featured in the United Way's video, Building Better Futures, which celebrates the United's Way Pre-Kindergarten Summer Institute. You can find the video on YouTube by searching Building Better Futures 2015 United Way Santa Barbara. Canalino had its annual holiday trolley event this past weekend, hosted by the parents for Canalino. In addition, Canalino's Coppola group spent hours cooking homemade tamales and champurrado for the trolley riders. They would like to thank their dedicated parents for their dedication to our school. On December 10th, Canalino staff will have their annual holiday party hosted by Mrs. Pursoon to honor the hard work the staff does day in and day out on behalf of their students and families. December 11th is movie night, and they will be showing Minions. This is a 5th grade fundraiser for camp. The Santa store will also be open in the mornings in the cafeteria run by their student council. They are raising money as a school for CureDuchennes.org in celebration of one of Canalino's students. On December 18th, Canalino will welcome the Celtic Springs Assembly in partnership with Aliso School. The Canalino family wishes everyone a joyous holiday season. November 24th, Thanksgiving All-School Feast, was a wonderful success with many parents generously donating food and beverages. Students spoke of many items for which they were grateful during the lunch. December 11th was bomb threat drill scheduled with a visit from the Santa Barbara Humane Society Pet Pals to the K1 and 2-3 classes. Toys for Tots, the students in the 4th and 5th grade class, are holding a Toys for Tots toy drive to enable children throughout the United States to experience the joy of the season. Students are bringing in unwrapped toys to school to be placed in the Toys for Tots box in the office. Summerlin students and families are spreading the joy to others. January 12, 2015, Summerland School will be welcoming a new garden educator, Marla Greer, through its relationship with Explore Ecology. Aliso's SBDI dancers have been hard at work learning and practicing their individual routines. Some of the classes who have won Kid Biz or Dream Dreambox contests have led Aliso students in their dance moves during our Monday morning movement activity each Monday. Tuesday, December 8th, will be Aliso's annual music van activity for third grade students. Students have the opportunity to listen to different types of musical instruments, learn about them, and practice using each type. This event is always well liked by the students of Aliso. And Thursday, December 10th, is Aliso's annual holiday craft night. Classrooms will be open from 6 to 7 p.m. for families to create a holiday craft together. They will also offer warm beverages and family-provided holiday treats in the cafeteria at this time. Thursday, December 17th, will be Aliso's transitional kindergarten and kindergarten holiday sing from 8:05 to 8:45 in the cafeteria. Students are practicing 6 songs to perform during the special event. Friday, December 18th, Aliso will host a special school-wide performance of Irish music and dance. The Celtic Springs group will perform at 8:05 in the quad. Aliso would like to thank Mrs. Kathy Schaefer for organizing this performance for their students, and this day will also be a minimum day for dismissal. Carpinteria Family School is finishing off the 2015 year with a goal setting for the remainder of this year and the 2016 through 2017 school year. On December 9th, the staff is gathering to review the progress of our students with the most recent academic data and set further goals for 2016 and 2017. On December 10th and December 17th, the teachers and principal will be meeting with some parents to review their students' progress and assist with the homeschool program. On December 14th, there will be a professional development for all aides and AmeriCorps to teach reading strategies. They are excited about the grant money they received that was delineated for the arts. The grant will be spent on a musical program and the purchase of ukuleles for the students to learn to play. In addition, the grant money will go towards the all-school production of The Lion King, which will be performed at the middle school on April 29th and April 30th. Carpinteria Family School wishes everyone a joyous holiday season. Tomorrow, Wednesday, December 9th, the On Your Own class from Carpinteria Middle School invites their families to a feast for restaurant day. This event continues on the 10th. Thursday, the 10th, CMS will have a vision testing for 8th graders, and some of the staff will attend to professional development regarding language arts and English language development standards at the County Education Office. On Friday, December 11th, there will be an exciting activity day planned. Adui, a female percussion and vocal group will perform. They will have open for James Brown, and this will be followed by art and hip-hop classes thanks to the Carpinteria Arts Council and Amanda from Studio B Dance Company in Carpinteria. CMS will also have a full slate of field games, including the classic three-legged race. Next week, on Wednesday, the 16th, CMS will have their wonderful winter band concert at 6:30 in the NPR and an ELAC meeting at 6 in the library. Another excellent couple of weeks at Rincon and Foothill High Schools. Thanksgiving break provided a time for reflection and rest as Rincon and Foothill students and staff enter the final month of classes for the semester. Students will continue to learn and grow in meeting their academic and personal goals as they demonstrate all they have learned this semester. Teachers are working diligently to prepare students for the end of the semester assessments. Last week, Rincon students participated in vision testing. Thank you to all the volunteers from the Carpinteria Lions Club and host Carpinteria High School for providing this important service to our students every year. Students also participated in the California Healthy Kids Survey last week. They will look forward to the results so that they can be aware of the students and staff perceptions and best meet the needs of the students. Speaking of providing important student programs, thanks to the Community Action Commission's Los Compadres program, which just finished up a 6-week workshop in Rincon's health class. Students had lots to celebrate this week during the Rincon Assembly. Students with perfect attendance had an opportunity to win gift cards and a drawing, and Rincon teachers recognized 3 students for outstanding effort and performance in the classroom. Looking ahead, staff and students have a lot to look forward to in the next 2 weeks. Counselors from the Santa Barbara City College will be on campus on Thursday, December 10th to share college information with students at the end of the semester. Holds a lot of excitement and transitions for some students. Go Aztecs. Carpinteria High School Leadership Program is proud to present their very own Unity Shop, open to the community Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 3:15 p.m. We are currently looking for any donations that could help bring in the holidays to people in need. Please feel free to stop by and grab something for the holidays. Yesterday, December 7th, there was a Boosters Club meeting in the cafeteria. And today, December 8th, there was a Jostin senior class meeting in the library for all seniors. Thursday, December 10th, there is an ELAC parent meeting at 6 p.m. in the library. Monday, December 14th, CHS Band will hold its annual winter concert in the cafeteria at 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, December 16th, marks the first day of our final exams. And Friday, December 18th, is the end of the first semester and the start for winter break for all Carpinteria High School students. And Carpinteria High School wishes everyone an amazing, safe holiday break.
Thank you.
All right.
you.
Thanks, Anna.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Anna, do you know the Unity Shop that the high school is starting? Are they
I'm in
looking
leadership.
For food donations? Or what kinds of
anything.
donations?
We
Any
have sections,
clothing and
clothes,
okay.
like school supplies, food, toys.
And where
anything
should the
really.
community take those items?
I'm
To
pretty
the
sure they can.
office,
Yeah,
or-
the front office,
Okay.
or they can contact Julie at jshamblin@cusd.net.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Next, I'm going to excuse myself down to the podium because we have 3 employee.
Public comment first.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. We moved that, didn't we?
That's all right.
I didn't make note of it. Public comment.
We do. We have
Yeah.
public comment from Doug Treelor.
All right. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah.
I'm Doug Treelor. I'm speaking today on behalf of the Carpinteria Lions Club, and I thank you for moving me up on the agenda. I just wanted to let you guys know how excited we are with a vision screening this year with our new equipment. The old way that we used to do it was established in 1872 and has been the keystone since 1946 of vision screening. The equipment that we used, we borrowed from the local doctors. It was the only time during the year that they used it. With our new testing equipment, we can do an entire classroom in 6 minutes. It used to take us 45 minutes.
Amazing.
In fact, we got it down where we can test a kid in 1 second. By the time they sit in the chair, they're done. Before they're settled in, we're done with it. It takes 6 to 7 lions each day that we do the screening, and as was mentioned, we're going to wrap it up this Thursday at the middle school. By the time we're done, we will have somewhere around 100 man-hours into doing the testing, and we will have tested over 800 of Carpinteria students.
Great.
Of these 800, we're finding about 14% need referral for additional testing from an eye professional. With the new system, we don't need doctors anymore. We can do it without them. If they are a referral, we print out what the statistics are, and the doctor can look at that and know the diagnosis straight from that. It's been so great. We have tested some of the kids that have challenges. At one school, there's one kid that's restricted to a stroller of some sort. We were able to test him. In years past, we would have just had to say, sorry, we can't do it. We test them this year with glasses as well as without. And the good thing with the glasses, we can see whether their prescription is good for them or whether they need to go back and get another testing and maybe a revised prescription. And some of those 14% that have failed are those that do wear glasses. But I'm so tickled with how things are going. And at this point, I just wanted to let the school district know your biggest expense is going to be providing coffee and donuts to the lawn.
Great. Well,
Thank you, and we do enjoy what we're doing.
Thank you, Doug, and thanks to all the Lions. That's a great service you guys provide, and I know countless people have benefited from it.
Yes, and that's our main thrust is eyesight. So this is what we're here for.
Outstanding.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks. Okay, now I'll excuse myself down to the podium. All right. It's with honor. We have 3 retirees this evening. I'd like to bring Dan up first. We have Dan McFarland. How you doing? Fine. So Dan's been with the district for 42 years. So that means you must have started when you were 15. Before you graduated, yeah. That's outstanding. You started working in 1974, and you're retiring this year. We're going to miss you. Dan, he started out as a maintenance helper, and he is retiring as supervisor of maintenance. From a recent experience, I know we're going to miss you because over the Thanksgiving weekend, Dan got called. There was a water break at the high school, and Dan spent the whole weekend there making sure that was repaired. And I know that was one of probably hundreds of times you've gone beyond the call of duty. So we'd like to present you with a plaque.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And a plaque.
Awesome. One more. There we go.
Would you like to say anything, Dan?
Okay. Haven't had to do this before. I appreciate being able to work for the school district. I've met a lot of wonderful people. Many of them are sitting right here. I've known Cindy for probably 10 years now. 13. See how fast it goes by? It goes by very quickly. And for you people who don't think you're going to get to retire, oh, no, you will. And it's going to get here faster than you thought it was going to get here, because these 40 years have gone by quick. I was a Carpenter high school graduate, as you mentioned, and that just seems like a couple of years ago. And here it is, 66 years old, graduating class of 68's long since passed, and I'm still here. I walk the high school campus, and I feel like I'm one of the kids still there, because most of them are bigger than me. But they've got hair. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, I appreciate working for the district for so many years. I don't know where else I would have been. I appreciate a couple of my favorite teachers who have passed on by now. Fred Turner, the woodshop teacher, he was instrumental in my being what I am today, I guess. Woodshop is something that is gone now, but maybe someday you'll see to bring it back, because it got me where I am, and I've got lots of things to do in the future, so I won't be bored, but I'll come down with my guys and have coffee with them at Minaldo's. You guys all know where I'm at 9:30, right? Driven by to see me there. So anyway, I don't know what else to say, but thank you very much.
Well, I think Cindy would like to say something.
Or actually, Dave.
Or Dave.
And Dave?
David would like to.
David was going to
Yeah.
something there.
Yeah, I just want to say what a tremendous loss Dan's retirement is going to be for the district. He's been there for 42 years, and looking all the way from Summerlin to the high school, all the things that he's touched, I don't think there's any room that he hasn't been in, and his knowledge is tremendous. He's going to be a big loss for the district, and I hope we're able to fill his shoes. So, thank you, Dan.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Right there in the board by the flag or something.
Okay.
Perfect.
Dan, would you like to introduce your wife?
This is my wife, Frianda.
Hi, Fernanda.
We've been married about 12 or 13 years. Indonesia.
Great.
Retirement.
Okay, next I'd like to bring up Sharon Velarde. I'm just going to hit the high points here. Sharon's been with the district for 18 years, and she started in 1996. She's held positions of resource specialist, teacher on special assignment, as the project director for the Safe School Grant and the After School Program District Coordinator. And currently she's been director of special programs. We're really going to miss you. I know you've put a lot of work into these and generated a lot of good information and provided a lot of great services for the kids.
Oh, thank you.
And
My pleasure.
yeah, well, we're going to really miss you. So we have a plaque here for you.
Thank you.
And would you like to say something?
I would.
Yeah, all right.
It's me. No, I want to thank you. I want to thank the board and your predecessors for supporting me over these years. I feel like I've taken a full circle because what you don't know, in about 1990-91, I started at the high school with Cal Soap as a tutor and career counselor in their career class, and worked as a summer school teacher there and migrant ed. And then I was able to work at middle school as a substitute teacher and a temporary teacher in special ed, and then Maine, where I loved working there with special education, and fought you in the closure of Maine. Which we still call Maine. I'm sorry, Children's Collaborative, but that's really difficult. And then able to have, I just feel blessed, like opportunities just kind of fell in my lap, where I was able to lead the Safe Schools project, start the Canalino preschool, and work with Michelle, and look what it's come to today. Bring all the services to our students at the schools, and then the counseling grant, and then work on the after-school program, and then finally realize and receive the grant for the after-school program at the high school. So I feel like I've went a full circle, and I just truly appreciate the opportunity that I was given and your support over the years, and hopefully I can continue to, give back to the community where I raised my children, and 5 of my husbands and our children went to school here, so I couldn't ask for more. Makes me want, it's so bittersweet. And thank you.
You made my part really simple because I was going to fill in some more blanks, but you took care of that. So at this point, I'll just, speak from my heart, Sharon. I really was fortunate to meet you upon my arrival, and immediately was struck by your heart and, the spirit with which you lead, and your caring, loving approach in everything that you do. And thank you for your service after all these years. We'll continue to do our work together, and on behalf of everyone, just want to truly thank you.
Thank you.
You've been an inspiration. I don't think you know how to say the word no.
None, I don't know. Maybe not.
So we'll go over and take a picture too, and
Oh.
we're going to take our picture. Would you like the family to be
My husband couldn't be here tonight.
Sometimes that work just gets in the way. doesn't it?
That's right.
Look at you. You have to laugh for the camera.
Look at the camera picture.
For the camera.
There we go. Now I got you.
So cute.
Yes, thank you.
You, Sharon.
Okay, I'd like to bring Harry up. Harry Jacobs, our custodial supervisor. Harry. So Harry's been with the district for 8 years and started in 2007, and I know you've done an outstanding job managing the disparate sites we have from Summerlin to Maine and everything in between, and I know that your staff and everyone you work with is gonna miss working with you. So it's been a pleasure. Thanks. Oh.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can I take a picture
Thank
with
you.
you holding up the
Would you like to say a few words?
Oh, yes. Well, I haven't been here as many years as Dan, but the 8 years that I have been here have been very, very eventful. I have mixed emotions about leaving. I'm happy with my retirement, of course. I have big plans for my retirement. But it's the people here. I came from a large school district when I first started here. And when I came here, it was so easy to make friends with everyone. It was so easy to just, go in and work together with people. They'd be courteous and nice and friendly. It was just a different environment than what I was used to. And I really feel blessed to have this last 8 years of my career to be at Carpentry Unified School District. It's been really, like I said, I have mixed emotions about it because my staff, I've gotten very close to my staff, and I've gotten nothing but support from them. They've been the greatest. Matter of fact, they've probably been the best custodial staff I've ever experienced working with. They're just dedicated. They're working every day. I don't have to be pushing them. They're out there supporting me. So it made my job much more easier to be able to manage because of them and because of all the relationships that I've had here in the district. So I'm very thankful, and I will miss everybody. And I just want to say thank you to the school district for this 8 years of eventful service.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cindy wants to say.
So I want to share a few things about Harry. You can tell from the things he says that he's very proud of his staff, and that is true. I mean, he tells me daily how professional everybody is. Harry's very professional too. He takes very great pride in everything he does. And one of the things I will remember is being in my office and having you spend an hour telling me about all the research you're doing on all the different cleaning products because you wanted to make sure that we had absolutely the best product, the safest product. And I know you've always paid a lot of attention to that, and having the right equipment and safety for all of your staff. And I've really appreciated that.
Well, I'll miss you.
You've been
I'll miss
great.
all of you. Thank you very much.
I want to say something. Say something too. Go ahead. Okay.
One more picture. Come on. Everybody, squish on in, Mr. Winnegar. Thank you. One more. All right. You can pick all the nice ones out.
So before you guys leave, I think some board members want to say something too. Yes. So first of all, Dan and Harry, you guys clean up very well. I'm so used to seeing you after a hard day's work, and yeah. That's right. So both, or all three of you, Sharon, Dan, and Harry, I got the pleasure of working with you as a colleague over at Maine, and I have to say that even though you're probably thinking in your heads like, she's crazy for asking me to do this, you guys always did it with a smile. You always figured out a way to do it. You guys as supervisors have been incredible leaders to your staff, and it shows. Our schools could not run without everything that you've done, and you've literally touched thousands of lives and made Carpinteria what it is. So thank you. I wish you happy retirement. Have fun.
That was very well said, Michelle. Thank you. 68 years of experience we're losing at the end of this month. And I just want to personally thank each of you for what you have contributed, such a great asset to this district. And each of you have contributed in such remarkable ways. And I was thinking tonight how descriptive it is of what it takes to run this whole district. It takes all aspects of people that work in the classroom, people who work to maintain the classrooms and the sites, and people who clean the classrooms and the sites, and then work with our children after school as well. So I just really want to thank each of you for what you have contributed.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yes.
Or a hug.
I know, I need a hug too.
I know.
Very sweet.
We'll be seeing you around.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. I'm not going too far.
Let's go down.
Thank you. Thank you.
My husband is enjoying his retirement. I'm waiting to get there.
You're waiting to get there.
Congratulations, you guys.
This is a good crew. All right. I'd like to move on to item 3, our first interim budget report for 2015-16.
She said ditto.
Same one. Same one.
There's this one. 2 reports.
Yes.
Busy.
I have been really busy. This is why I didn't go to CSBA with you guys. And so I'm going to start over again, and some things you will have heard before, and there'll be some other pieces to it as well. Tonight, you're going to be approving our first interim report. This is what the whole thing looks like. It reflects all the funds of the district. It has other analytical data in the back that we call criterion standards, and it also includes the multi-year projections. And following this presentation, you will be voting to certify. It's a positive certification that we will meet our financial obligations for the current and subsequent 2 years. So this is a very important process. And this is our first opportunity to formally review and adopt a revised budget for this year. We will have second interim in March, and then a final presentation in June along with the adopted budget. So to get ahead with the presentation, if I can make it move. Oh, maybe not. It's on now. There we go. So remember that we adopted our budget in June, and that was really a long time ago. A lot of things have happened since then. One of the first things that happened was that the state adopted their budget. And so the changes related to the state budget adoption are also incorporated in this interim report. Throughout our budget and many of our other activities, there are some ongoing budget themes. The local control funding formula, LCFF, the local control accountability plan, the LCAP, increased contributions to our retirement plans. We'll be talking about that. The rainy day fund, which is the state enacted cap on local reserves, which has not yet been repealed. Some other updates: state revenues continue to exceed projections, and so that may give the governor some flexibility when he makes his proposals for the 2016-17 budget in January. And then finally, there will be a state facilities bond on the November 16th ballot, and we're looking forward to maybe getting some additional state funds for our facility projects. So first, just really quickly about the local control funding formula, because this is our world, even though we actually don't get this money. Most of the other districts around us do. There was quite a lot of new funding this year to close the gap between the benchmark period of 2012-2013 and the funding target, which is about 8 years from now. And so the funding this year closed about 53% of the gap. So that's really quite a lot of money. And funding increased at districts anywhere from 0 for some districts all the way up to 18%, with an average of a 12% increase for school districts. So that's really great news for LCFF districts. We are basic aid. Our property taxes exceed the LCFF funding calculation, excuse me, and they are projected to increase by 5.5%. The next thing that will be governing our budget process, as well as all of our planning for the upcoming year, is that we will be going through the LCAP process during the whole year. We've already begun a lot of work. Micheline's been guiding all of our administrators, and we're working through this process to update this year's goals, and then to begin the needs assessment for 2016-17. So that's the foundation for the LCAP, but it's also the foundation for our budget. What is it do we need to do to provide services to our students? And also keeping in mind that our district has 68% of our students are unduplicated students, which means that 68% of our students are either from low income, economically disadvantaged, they're English learners, or they're from foster homes. So that's a very large percentage relative to many other districts in California. And it's a very unusually high percentage for basic aid districts. Most basic aid districts do not have that high number of unduplicated students. So our challenge is how to provide all those additional and improved services to those students when we're not getting additional money under the LCFF formula for those students. Another challenge is the required increases to our retirement plans. And you can see up here that for 2015-16, our STRS rate is 10.73%. By the time you get to 2020-21, it's over 19%. And there's similar increases in the PERS rate. So we will be needing to budget for the increased costs for our contributions to the retirement plans over all of those years. The rainy day fund, I think all I can say about this right now is that we're still not required to meet it because not all the tests have been made, and we still certainly hope that that cap will be repealed. So in the first interim report, we're going to be talking mostly about the General Operating Fund, Fund 01. And in that fund, the first item of revenue you will see in the category is called LCFF, Local Control Funding Formula. And that category includes state aid, which is our fixed amount of remaining categorical funds, which is $1.2 million. Our education protection account, which is from Proposition 30, $200 per ADA, and the most significant piece of that is our property taxes. So as I mentioned, state aid includes the categoricals. It also includes a small amount of district of choice funding for students who are attending, and this year it's only 12th grade at the high school. They are coming from other districts outside of Carpentry, mostly from either Ventura or Oxnard. And I already talked about the categorical piece of the state aid, which is $1.2 million. It's fixed in pretty much permanently, but it included all the old categoricals, which you may have heard of, which included deferred maintenance, K-3 class size reduction, instructional materials, economic impact aid. So all those things went away, and they all got folded into an unrestricted stream of money that's in LCFF or for basic aid districts in this categorical grant. And as I mentioned previously, the EPA account, $200 per ADA, it's $430,772 for this year. This is what our property taxes look like. You can see our actual taxes for 2014-15 were $18.1 million. Projected for 2015-16, $19,170,000, a projected increase of 5.5%. So that's what's reflected in our budget right now. And of course, the biggest chunk of all this is what we call the secured taxes, which are the taxes related to real property, land and buildings, both residential and commercial. Other assumptions for federal funds, most of our funding is related to No Child Left Behind, although I guess that's all changed and we have a new name for it. But we continue to get Title I, Title II, Title III for directed to specific students. And that amount of money is pretty much unchanged from 2014-15. We're also in the second year of a 5-year grant, which is a high school program, 21st Century Learning. We get $200,000 a year for our high school after-school programs, and that has actually been really exciting, what the student opportunities are there. And then also federal funding for special education, estimated at $349,000. State revenues, most state revenues are rolled into LCFF. What's left? We get a mandated cost block grant each year. This year it's almost $80,000. We received we've actually received it at this point. Quite a large one-time appropriation of $1.1 million, which is to pay back our old mandated cost claims, but it's unrestricted. It can be used for any purpose, and it's included in the first interim. Lottery funding is estimated at $140 per ADA, or $316,000. In the restricted side of the budget, there's funding from the state for special education. Restricted lottery at $41 per ADA, $92,000. That must be used for any type of instructional materials only. We often use it for textbooks, but we also use it for all of the supplemental materials that go along with textbooks and other sorts of things. And then there's a new grant called the Educator Effectiveness Funding, which is restricted, and it's to be spent over 3 years. It's $197,000, and it's for professional development for teachers and certificated administrators. Under local revenues, we have rents and leases. On the restricted side, the most significant piece of that is related to the foundation grants that are provided to the Carpinteria Children's Project, and those total $853,000. And then the last item in local, which is unrestricted, is $322,000, which is the lease for lease financing, I should say, for the 2 new school buses. We should be getting those really soon. I'm hoping before school gets out. So if we get them, we're going to
I bet they're big and yellow.
They're big and yellow.
Yeah.
They're big and yellow, and it's going to be fun to take a ride in them. For expenditures, the assumptions that are built into the 2015-16 budget, there is no cost of living increase on staff salaries pending negotiations. However, step and column costs are, of course, already budgeted. So staff who are moving on the salary schedule based on each year that they work will continue to get increases that way. The total statutory benefit rate, so that's retirements, Social Security, workers' comp, unemployment insurance. The certificated is 14.6% of salaries. For classified, it's 21.9%. And the reason classified is so much higher is because we also pay Social Security on classified salaries. Certificated members do not participate in Social Security. Health insurance. We currently have a fully paid plan. It's medical, dental, vision. For full-time employees, the cost is $17,555. Part-time employees who work over 50% get a pro rata contribution for their insurance. This year, the plan was revised a little bit after negotiating with our bargaining units last year, and that reduced the premium increase. It was projected to be 6%, and the plan changes brought that increase down to about 1.5%. Most of the plan provisions remain the same, so the deductibles, the out-of-pocket maximums are the same. What changed is the rate at which the insurer pays the claims. So if an employee goes to the doctor and has a $100 bill under our plan last year, the insurance company would pay 90% of that. This year, the insurance company pays 80% of that, so employees will pay a larger piece of that. But once they reach their out-of-pocket maximums, they're not paying any more. So they're just getting to the out-of-pocket maximum a little faster than they did under the old plan. So when you throw all the plans together, the premium increases averaged 1.6%. So there, in our expenditures at $322,000 for our buses, the estimated payment for the installment purchases is $70,000. Although I'm proposing that we increase the time period, and that will reduce the payment to a little under $50,000. So right now in the budget, it's $70,000 a year for 5 years, and the proposed change is to do $50,000 for 7 years. Buys a little flexibility in our cash flow. The last item in expenditures, transfers to other funds. The state preschool is in Fund 12, so we transfer $21,000 into that fund to cover the operating deficit there. State funding is not adequate to cover the expenses of that fund, and that's pretty similar to most years. There always seems to be a little bit of a shortfall. There's a transfer to deferred maintenance, which is in Fund 14 of $100,000. That's coming out of the restricted side of the budget. There's a transfer to the cafeteria fund, which is Fund 13, which is almost $154,000. And then finally, a transfer to the early childhood education programs to cover the cost of running those programs, and that's foundation funding for scholarships and staffing. So that's $372,000. And then there's some normal budget adjustments that occur at first interim. We've closed the books, so now you know what our real ending balances are. Revenue estimates are adjusted based on current advisories from the Department of Education. It reflects our actual staffing levels. Our site carryovers are now budgeted. And then I usually look at our utilities and make adjustments on that based on last year's actuals. One of the things I noticed that because last year we didn't get any rain, and so we had a little bit higher water costs, but we had lower gas costs because it wasn't cold. So every year it kind of switches around. If I think we're going to be spending a certain level of money on water, but it rains a lot, well, then we spend less on water, but then it's cold. So it tends to switch out depending on what our weather's like. So this is what our operating fund looks like. Here's the major categories for unrestricted, and I talked about these already. And here's a comparative column for the 2014-15 unaudited actuals, our final balances. You can see our unrestricted general fund ended the year with a deficit of almost $945,000. And then here's a summary of all of our unrestricted and restricted funds for also our operating fund. And I already discussed what the assumptions are for all of these. And you can see that in the unrestricted fund, we have a net increase in fund balance of about $14,000. The main reason we have a surplus here relative to the operating deficit here is because of this one-time money from the state of $1.1 million that's up in the unrestricted revenues. So that's the big difference here. There's lots of other smaller things, but if I had to say one thing that affected it, that's what it is. And then in the restricted side of the budget, we're just reflecting all of the restricted revenues that I already discussed. And then these are all the salaries and expenses that are charged to the restricted programs in the district. So I always like to explain what changed. So if you looked at our adopted budget and you looked at our unrestricted fund, you would see that we had $442,841 operating surplus. Okay? And these are the things that affected our first interim report. So you can see we got additional property taxes of $274,000. The adopted budget used the assumption of 5% property tax increases, and we're now being told by the county that there'll be 5.5%. So this is extra money due to that change in their estimate. You can see here a few other larger items. A reduction in the one-time funding, that $1.1 million, when the governor proposed it back in, well, actually at the May revise, it was about $1.2 million, built the budget on that. And then when the state adopted their budget, they reduced this funding and in exchange gave us the educator effectiveness funding, which is restricted. So overall, we're not getting less money, but we're getting less unrestricted money due to this amount. And here you can see the bus proceeds for the financing. And then on the expenditure side, we had a reduction in certificated salaries, and that's mainly because we had 2 math TOSAs who were budgeted and aren't working here as employees, but are instead working with our staff through the County Office of Education. So that reduced our certificated expenditures. We budgeted site carryovers. We've budgeted other contracts and operating expenses. You can see the cost of the bus, and actually there's a piece of equipment in here too. The installment payment. Increased contribution to special education, so that's the increase from the adopted budget. So altogether, we had reductions of about $931,000. So this is how you get to the $14,716, which is our net increase in fund balance for our unrestricted fund. So moving along to the multi-year projections. Here are the assumptions I used to build those. The state aid LCFF, there's no longer any district of choice funding because that program is sunsetting. We, again, reflect our categorical grant of $1.2 million, which won't change. Property tax increases of 5.5%, so this is for next year.
Cindy, I have a question on that. So, and we went over it earlier in our budget study session, but if you go back and average our property tax increases for the past 5 years, I think I'm just curious why we're plugging that number in for subsequent years here going forward when our average over the last 5 has been closer to 3%. Because it just seems to me it's giving us a false sense of revenue or false sense of security that we're going to have those revenues, when I think it would be more prudent to base it on what actually has occurred. 'Cause I mean, we haven't seen recurring property tax revenues at that high a level, I don't think, ever, have we?
Oh no, we had very high increases back before the recession.
Yeah.
I honestly, this is a real dilemma for me because I don't know what number to use. There isn't any number I can use that's entirely predictive. We could easily have property tax increases at this level.
I was listening to the California Economic Forecast, Bill Watkins down at Cal Lu, and he's pretty accurate, and he says property taxes in our area are going to probably be flat to maybe up, real estate sales are going to be flat to maybe 2% increases over the next couple of years. He said in general the state's going to do well, but it's going to be driven by the tech. But locally we're not going to see these huge. I don't know. I just think it might be wise to base it on something empirical.
Well, I think the problem I can use lots of different numbers and I'm totally fine, use.
Well, I'm just worried that, we get to the end of the year here and because we are going to be, we're already, I don't feel very comfortable with our projections moving forward. And I'm just, if we, and it's plugging a pretty big increase. Last year we had a 5% increase. This year we're 5.5%, and we're assuming 5.5% next year. But moving forward, with interest rates going to increase, rise, and there aren't a whole lot of people that are super bullish on the economy. I don't know. I'm a little unsure that we should be plugging that. I don't know what you guys are thinking. If you want to keep that in there, or if we want to change.
Pretty bleak even with that number in there, so.
It does.
I'm sort of almost fearful if we decrease it, what it looks like, but perhaps.
But it may be a more realistic view. But that's just kind of where how I'm feeling right now.
Sure, and I understand that. One of the things we talked about is my bringing some historical data about property taxes, which I can do.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
I can see what other information I can bring you. Property taxes increase on the natural. If you own a house and you don't sell it, it's going up 2% each year anyway. And then whatever other differences you have are related to property reassessments and sales and that sort of thing. I think there are still also some homes that had their values, their assessments reduced because of the recession, and those have not come up fully to their actual values either. So there's so many moving parts. I can try to find out more information.
Well, I think it'd be good to base it on, so we're not just kind of picking a number. That we actually are basing it on some real information from from people who've got the statistics. The
county doesn't even know. I mean, if I called the county and I said, "Tell me what you think," they would not tell me. But let me see what I can figure out, because I understand. I mean, I wonder about this as well. It's very hard to say what
did you just pick it because that was last year's number?
I picked it because this is what we've got, and because even a year ago it was 5%. So it's not like that's like a crazy number.
No, not for this year. I'm
No,
saying,
I know. We're
I'm saying
talking about going
for 3-4
forward.
years out forward.
Well, we can put a different number in for 3 or 4 years out too. We don't really know.
3-year average.
Yeah, I just did the average based on what my memory is since I've been on the board, and I came up with about 3.2% over the last 5 years.
So are you suggesting I plug in 3% for future years? Is that what you're thinking?
It's a suggestion, yeah.
So
2-3 years out.
Okay, so like when I do second interim, that's what I would do. Okay.
Or if you get better information than
right
than what I just told you, I think that'd be better to use that than my back of the napkin calculation.
Okay, let me see what I could do. I mean, everybody has a different view about what's going to happen, and so that makes it a little hard. But let me see what I can work on. But I think
our area is a little insulated from.
It's very insulated
from the real world, and that if so many people want to live here, and there's a lot of good, on the upside, there's a lot of potential positive, and some of these developments that want to go on the bluffs and things like that. But those are all years away. And I think we're more interested in the near term. So I think maybe for second interim, it'd be a good idea to maybe take a closer look at maybe some different opinions, and we can come up with an average. So we're not just picking. Because I think that 5.5, going forward is a high number.
Okay. Let me see what I can.
Thank you.
Figure out. Okay, and the education protection account. The Medi-Cal administrative activities of the mall money is not ongoing funding, although we may continue to receive it as we continue to get reimbursed, but I don't budget it until we actually get it. Other state and federal revenues remain flat. The one-time funding for mandated costs, the $1,143,000, of course, is being deducted from the multi-year projection for 2016-17. Other assumptions, retirements. This is for next year. 3 teachers, and I kind of took a look at what salaries were for some of these teachers that are, getting close to retirement. It's running around $81,000. Replacement teachers, somewhere in an average of $42,000. That's like a column 2, step 2. Retiree health insurance is $17,555. No decline in enrollment. So all retiree positions would be replaced. Step and column increases for all staff. No cost of living increases, except, of course, related to the sharing of the health insurance increases. Statutory benefits are increasing, again, for 2016-17. Health insurance, projected increase of 6% for 2016-17. And again, this is another number where I really struggle with it. If we try to project what property taxes are, trying to project what health insurance premium increases are is almost impossible. It really is. I mean, you can hear about trends, but then Santa Barbara is really a unique market because of the limited healthcare providers. But we've been having 6% increases, so I use that. And under the plan that we negotiated with our staff, half of that increase would be paid by our employees, and the other half of the increase would be added to the salary schedule.
Half of it be paid by CUSD and half of it be paid by added to the salary schedule?
Well, the employees have to pay.
Which is added to their salary schedule.
Right. We're ending up paying for it because it's going on the salary.
So you're saying half the increase would be paid by the employees.
Right. Oh, I know what you're saying.
And then
I know what you're
added-
saying.
and
we're
then
paying the
added
other
to the
half.
salary
Yes.
schedule.
So that piece is on there too. Right.
It's a little confusing.
It's really confusing. Books, supplies, and operating expenses increased by consumer price index of 2.7. So this is what it looks like. Here's 2015-16 unrestricted fund. You can see there's the net surplus, reserve balance of 9.32%. For 2016-17, you have an operating deficit of $848,000 because we no longer have that one-time money in there, and the reserves dropped to 6%. This slide shows the changes in the contributions to restricted programs. So you can see here, a lot of this is special education. So the contribution to special education for this year is $2.3 million, and it increases over the 3-year period up to almost $2.5 million. And then also the other restricted programs you can see down here, routine restricted maintenance and Medi-Cal. So our contribution restricted programs for this year is $3.1 million. For next year, it's $3.2 million, and the following year, it's $3.3 million. And then for the final year of the projection, the third year, again, no district of choice funding, the same categorical. Here's the property tax increase. Federal and state revenues remain flat. Again, 3 retirements with the savings reflected there. Step and column increases for all staff. And no cost of living for staff salaries. Another 6% increase for health insurance with the same cost sharing arrangement. And books and supplies, operating expenses, increase of 2.8%. So here you can see 2016-17, which we already looked at with the reserve percentage at 6%. And you go to 2017-18, and it drops to 3.88%. So all the way through here, we're having operating deficits and what I would call structural deficits, because a lot of these expenditures are ongoing operating costs, and our revenue's not keeping up with it. So what's next? Things do keep happening. The governor will have his 2016-17 budget proposal mid-January. The legislative analyst has already come out with their report. That comes out in November. And the legislative analysts have looked at revenue projections, and they say that there's additional money this year, $2.3 billion, and there will be an additional $3.6 billion available for ongoing spending in 2016-17. So what that means to me is that this $2.3 billion, the governor is likely to make proposals for some type of one-time funding. It could be, again, similar to what we've received this year. I don't know what it would work out to per district or per ADA, but we'd find that out in January. And then this 3.6 that's available for ongoing is likely to go to increased funding for LCFF. So we won't see that part of it. Long range, the analyst's office says full implementation of LCFF will not occur until after 2017, 2018. So they see the way the monies are going because of the Proposition 98 guarantees, that money's actually going to then be diverted to other parts of the state's budget. And that's assuming that there aren't, like a recession or reduction in revenues. There's just going to be less money going to districts over the next few years. And also the state will not be required to make a deposit into this rainy day reserve. So hopefully we won't be dealing with that. And of course, we have been and already will be spending more time planning for next year. We're going to be needing to look at different options for reducing operating deficits and continue our work on the LCAP through the rest of this year. And I can tell you that our administrators are already meeting with staff and other stakeholders, and so we're beginning that whole process in earnest.
Thanks, Cindy. That was very thorough and easy to understand presentation. You guys have any questions or comments?
Go ahead.
So if we don't get any more one-time money and we don't change anything, we won't be able to certify your report next year, right? Because we have to show above the 3%, 3 years out or 2 years out.
If we don't change anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Joy.
Joy.
Okay. Harry, you have
Just
anything?
a quick question, really, for the board and administration. When will we be obviously having another study session to actually have those discussions about priorities and what we fund and what we might not fund?
It's my opinion that part of that naturally happens when I present you with an update on LCAP, and I'm hopeful to do that in the first meeting in February. At that time, Cindy and I would be working together because then she would be showing where we are with our expenditures, given the allocations that we identified for the LCAP when it was written. So that was part of the report. We're happy to provide you with another study session, and perhaps that does merit more time with the LCAP. And so we're just open to your suggestions and when you would like to see that happen and how. I just think that if we do, the next time it needs to be related to our LCAP.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we'll have the governor's budget
as well.
in January. That will help. And is Prop 30 on the June ballot or the November ballot?
As far as I know, it's November.
That's next year.
Next year. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Want a motion?
Yes, I'd like a motion.
Okay, I move that we approve the first interim budget report for 2015-16.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Well, we made it 100 days.
Yay. Happy 100 days to me. Woo! Of course, it's a little anticlimactic after those numbers. The good news is we're not in a deficit right now, right? So that's better than last year, correct? However, that is a concern in a district our size to be in the low 100,000s and even less. So certainly we need to take a look at our priorities, as you have mentioned, and align it with our LCAP, and then have those conversations about what are those priorities and what's going to come first, second, third, and where those monies are going to support those priorities. So with that, happy 100 days to me. And I'm very pleased to announce that Great Clips will be providing our high school, our comprehensive high school, Mr. Cornejo, the $2,500 toward a scholarship for one of our high school students. Nice. And we thank him and the wonderful staff there that generously, worked hard and encouraged folks and everyone else in the community who went to have their hair cut, trimmed, some attention to their hairstyle, and so on and so forth that week. So we're excited about that, and he will be giving the check to the foundation, to the Carpinteria Education Foundation, who will then process the scholarship to our students on Friday at 1:30. So if you're available, it would be nice to have someone else there. All things considered, Gerardo Cornejo will be there, and ideally I will be able to attend as well. So thank you to Great Clips and everyone in the community. And thank you so much to Deborah McCarty and our Education Foundation, who also launched that. I believe it was an inaugural event, something brand new. So hopefully we'll be able to continue that as well. Last week, after traveling down to San Diego on Tuesday, I was fortunate to attend the orientation for new trustees with our new trustee, Alicia Morales Jacobson. And we spent a whole day together. It was great to learn together and play together and have fun and share laughs and get to know each other better. I really appreciated that time with you. And then the rest of the board, with the exception of Trustee Terry Banks, who was very ill. Unfortunately, the rest joined us, and we spent a very busy few days attending many different sessions and workshops with sponsored by the California School Boards Association. It was pretty exciting to have Jack O'Connell there mention us, and felt very honored to be mentioned by him as well. We have a longstanding relationship professionally, as he does with the Carpinteria community, and to have lunch with him and to be able to talk and catch up, that was awesome, an awesome opportunity at the conference as well. I attended a number of sessions like you did. For me, one of the few of the top for me, I would say, was the presentation on emergency preparedness. More information on the local control and accountability plan, the LCAP, and how less is more, especially when we get to rate ourselves against all of our goals, how much work is involved in doing that. So it's exciting to work with the Parent Advisory council that I meet with, and we've already been able to identify one goal that's fairly comprehensive that addresses all of the 8 state priorities, and I think we also have largely the second one done that can capture the rest. And they like the number 3 and 5, like I do as well. So we'll have an update for you on that coming soon. Also attended the Sobrato Early Academic Language Model called SEAL, which is a program that helps prevent long-term English learners and ushers them into the rigor of the 21st century. So I'm interested in sharing that information with the instructional leadership team next week, and I couldn't resist. I already shared with Principal Pursoon due to the dual language program, immersion program development there, and so perhaps there are some resources there as well. So she sounded very excited to learn more about it as well. We're looking forward to ending the calendar year safely together, and then wishing everyone a very well-deserved vacation of 3 weeks here. That's tremendous for our schools. Something unusual. I'm excited for them about that. I'm also looking forward to having time for myself here and finally getting through a lot of paperwork and different things, unboxing some boxes and looking at the historical records that were left for me. I haven't had a chance to do that. So I'll have some time to do that while everyone else is on vacation. To me, that's a little bit of a vacation, actually, because it feels really zenful for me to be able to know that I went through things and, refiled or saved, and I'll have a stack for Jolene, and it'll be like, what do we do with this, Jolene? And I'll have a stack for Cindy and Darlene as well. So yay for 100 days. And then looking forward to coming back to work in January with the team to start planning the next school year while we're winding down this school year. So it'll be exciting to do that from the beginning with everyone. I'm looking forward to that and focusing on the calendaring and planning when we come back, as well as all of the other opportunities that we have. So thank you.
Great. I'd just like to say that I am glad we attended. It's the first time I've attended the CSBA conference, and very worthwhile. It was worth our time and effort, and I personally got a lot of good information from it, and we'll look forward to attending again.
Great. Thank you. And thank you also
Thanks
for
for
the
encouraging
opportunity.
us.
I was very proud. I was a very proud superintendent among all of my peers, and I think you saw, we're a tight group, and many of us know each other, and I was very proud.
Felt like we were hanging out with a rock star.
That's cute. Did you get that, Ruby? Okay. Right, you got that? Write that down. Write that down, Ruby. Put that in your report for your class. The superintendent. That's right. Yay. Well, thank you. That's very sweet. I was really just thrilled to be there. Next year, looking forward to it again. Thank you in advance if that's possible that we can arrange that, and then bringing along Cindy in the future, and even our student representative for the day that they have for students and the sessions as well. That would be an awesome opportunity, and looking at how we can continue to build capacity across the district in all of the ranks.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move back to Cindy for an update on Measure U.
Well, I only have one thing to update you on, and that is that the planning team has been putting together quite an intricate schedule with bar graphs showing all of the meeting dates and timelines for all the site committee meetings. And so I think that they would like to update you on all of that at the January 12th meeting. So you'll have a better idea when things will be going on and where.
Great. Okay.
Good.
Let's move down to I, Business Operations Facilities and Warrants. Can I get a motion there?
I move that we approve and ratify warrants for November 19th through 25th as presented.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then item 2 is a resolution. Can I get a motion there?
I'll move that we adopt Resolution 15-744. This is a resolution of the board, delegation of governing board powers, duties, and authority to make cash and budget transfers.
Second?
All right, this is roll call.
Alicia?
Aye.
Jacqueline?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Terry?
Aye.
And I'm aye.
Okey doke. Item 3 is the master installment purchase agreement from Mercedes-Benz Financial Services USA LLC. This is for the buses. So we need to approve that agreement. Can I get a motion there?
I move we approve the master installment purchase agreement with Mercedes-Benz to be paid over 7 years.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item J is Measure U, and we're being asked to approve an agreement with Piper Jaffray to provide continuing disclosure consulting services regarding the Measure U general obligation bonds. And the annual cost of $3,000 will be paid from unrestricted operating funds. Can I get a motion there?
Move we approve the agreement with Piper Jaffray and Company as presented.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and item 2 is a contract with the Fence Factory to install chain link fence around the perimeter of the Planning Department building, separating it from the Catalina School campus. And the contract not to exceed $5,994 will be paid from Measure U bond funds.
I move that we approve the contract with Fence Factory.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item K, personnel. We have a first reading of our maintenance and custodial supervisor.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
trustees and President Schaefer. What I would like to do is present you and recommend that you adopt the first reading of the new job description. This job description takes into account that we have 2 retirees, 2 supervisors, and rather than hire the same configuration, rather than hire the exact same positions, we carefully have been analyzing every position that becomes vacant through natural attrition. And as such, we have combined those 2 positions into 1 position. And we've increased just ever so slightly on the scale for the salary. However, it is a savings rather than hiring the 2 full-time supervisors. We reviewed and updated the job description so that it reflects more current practices and better reality of what we do, since those job descriptions were written some time ago. And lucky for us, the supervisors adapted on their own. However, now we get to rewrite it. And so as such, I'd like to present it to you for adoption as the first read with the addition of the following 2 bullets. We will be adding for your second reading, assist with security of district facilities. And the last bullet is coordinate emergency preparedness and safety programs. And we think that that makes the position more robust and more in line with our focus with our safety committee, and that allows us to have more resources and bring more expertise to the table. If you have approved the job description, in the first read, with true candor, I want to let you know that we will post it as an anticipated vacancy, which doesn't mean that it will fly the next time we present it to you or that you will approve it. It just gives us an opportunity to get in front of the market because of the time of year, and so we don't want to miss a step. So with that, again, I recommend that you approve the job description, first reading, for the supervisor of maintenance and custodial with the addition as I've noted.
Okay. Need a motion?
I move that we approve and adopt the first reading of this new job description with the additions that Superintendent Miglis stated for the maintenance and custodial supervisory job description.
That was a good motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Can
I
have a quick comment. I just wanted to actually thank you for taking the time to even think about this. It's really great that we can be more efficient and more streamlined where it's appropriate, and this is a really great plan. So I wanted to appreciate that. Then I have one quick question.
Certainly.
We do have a little savings that will be realized from this. I'm guessing that's not reflected in your budget, Cindy? Yet?
No, I still have the existing staff.
Every little bit.
Everywhere we can.
Okay.
All right, great.
Great.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, move on to board communications. Alicia.
Let's see. No, just wishing everybody a peaceful holiday season.
Thank you.
I want to congratulate our superstar, right? Rock star superintendent on her 100 days. Just being around you at the conference, just realize what a great representative we have, and you represent us so well. And thank you so much for being a part of the CUSD family. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone.
Thanks. Terry.
I too want to wish Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah to those at this time. And I just really want to say how grateful I am for the things that we have and what we've been given in this community, in this country. And with the tragedy that happened in San Bernardino, I just, my heart goes out to those people. And I just really want to say how much I appreciate what we have here. So.
Thank you. Michelle.
Wishing everyone be safe and rested. Yes.
Well said, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We'll see everyone next year.
Next year, wow.
Yeah.
Anything else? No other future agenda items?
I was a little quick there, wasn't I? So I don't think there's anything else we want to add to future agenda items, sir.
I don't have anything.
Okay, or board calendar. Okay. All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Did we ever nail down the